So to the model that is every petrol head's dream. This is the Ugears Grand Prix car, but not a Grand Prix car that you'd recognise from any part of Formula One in today's racing terms. This is a beautiful Grand Prix racing car from the 1920s and 30s when all they had was a little leather helmet and a pair of racing goggles to protect them from the outside elements. The guys who drove these cars were true heroes. They were dicing with death every time they sat behind the wheel. And this is one model that is designed with very much an Italian heritage in mind. I'm going to remove this first of all because if you fancy being Il Campione, insert crowd noises here. Yes, you can win your own cup. It comes with its own winner's cup, for goodness sake. How ridiculous is that? They think of everything. Anyway, not really the point of where it is. It does say Grande Cup on it. But that bit's probably not Italian, that's probably English. But if I turn this around so you can see inside, you can see it says Modello Sportivo. Yes, and you can see there it also has a sign for Motore a 16 valvola. Well, it's I don't know what 16 is in Italian. Is it Sedici? Something like, my Italian's so bad. It means it's got 16 valves. Most people, when they design a car that's going to be a moving model, go, yeah, just put the valves in, mark them in, just, engrave them in. No, this is Ugears, remember. We've put all 16 valves there on top of the engine. Can you see? So it has 4 cylinders on that side, and it has 4 cylinders on that side. 2 valves per cylinder, you do the maths. 16 valves. The beauty of the way that anything is designed when it's complex like this is that Ugears don't go, no, we won't go to that level of detail. They go, how much detail can we put in? How much can we create? How much can we build? From the little compartment at the back that lifts up, that allows you to store things in, right the way through to, and I'm going to take this is the starting handle, by the way, so I'm going to take that out for a second, as I show you that the steering wheel will actually move the wheels as well at the front. Turn it the other way, there we go. Can you see? Like that. And that is because underneath there is the wheel and the gear that allows it to turn from the driver's cockpit. Just like that. Not only that, but the suspension levels as well, you can see, all sprung at the front, so that you have a sprung suspension. I'm holding it too far forward for you. There you go, that's better. You can see a sprung suspension there. Look at the camera, John. It's the best way of showing you what the audience is watching at home. And then you can see not only that, but the wheels themselves, beautifully spoked, but they've used rubber bands on them to give it some traction too. Now, as I said, this is designed so that you can actually make it move. This particular model, because I didn't make it, whenever there's a drive system in a Ugears model, there is a brake mechanism required so that you can wind up the rubber band, it holds it, you release the brake, the power is then transferred to the drive wheels, in this instance at the back, and the thing moves forward. In this instance, and I have been trying to work with this model a little bit, it needs some fine-tuning and it hasn't actually engaged the brake mechanism. So at some point what I need to do is unpick the last little bits, go back in and fix the drive mechanism. However, the principles are the same that you will do in your model and you will create in your model. Is you put the brake on, I'm just going to twist that so it goes in firmly. You put the brake on like that and you twist at the front with this, the starting handle, yeah? Which allows you to wind up the mechanism that would then drive it forward. And when you do drive it forward, you would release the brake and make sure the gear is in forward and it moves forward as that. As I say, at the moment, the brake mechanism isn't holding the tension from the rubber band, allowing it to do that. If I turn it around this side, you'll see there's also a forward and reverse gear. So it will go backwards as well. I'm sorry that I can't demonstrate that to you right here and now. But what I can probably do is just lift up the skeletal bonnet that they've put on here and as I do so, you might be able to see that the pistons are turning if I turn the drive shaft. Not only the pistons turning, but the valves are moving as well. So when it goes backwards and forwards, you will see that that is what happens. Sorry that I can't demonstrate that for you here and now. As I say, not a model that I built, so I need to go back in there and take a look at where the drive mechanism isn't being held by the brake mechanism, which is here. There are other little details to it as well. Just on the side here, there is a rubber band, which would look like a drive system for the car itself. That, of course, is not the case. That's not how you drive the car, but it's been set up to illustrate that point. You will see all the dials on the inside of the car, right in the cockpit. You get an idea of the fact that the detail extends that far. But I love the idea that you're going to say, how do you start this thing? How do you wind it up? You use a traditional starting handle, a crank, which is, of course, something that will be familiar to those people who had cars of an older generation. Ask your grandfather. He'll tell you about how he used to hand crank the car. Anyway, there's a proper place for that. It sits right in there. And there is a cup for us when we win the Grand Prix. But I do think this is exquisite in its design, its attention to detail. The idea of creating 16 moving valves in the engine is simply superb. Beautifully put together, as you can see, more intricate and more open to the option of you having to tune it once you've built it and make sure that everything moves. There is a fan. I can't even show you that. It's so beautifully stuck inside and behind the grille here. The fan moves when the engine goes as well. So if you are experienced at Ugears, I heartily recommend you try this. If you've never tried Ugears before, but you're an experienced model maker, try something that's a bit different. It comes in this beautiful flat pack, and this will allow you to create this model. And you can see it's so beautifully put together and designed. You can already see cylinder heads in the front there if you're a petrol head. You can see that they use a design package that allows them to make the maximum use of the wood, wasting nothing. So they have flat pack plywood here. As I've said before, it's designed because it's flat packed plywood, meaning that you get the grain going one way and then at 90 degrees and then another piece on the top, which means it's very, very strong. So even the smallest pieces won't break. And there again, another guarantee from Ugears. If you do have a piece that breaks, all you've got to do is contact them and they will send you the piece replacement. So I think this is an amazing little model. I really do think the engineering and design it is superb. If you have a petrol head in your life, if you have anybody who goes, I'm bored with the models that I've been making, I want to try something different, try them with this. And if you're looking for something different to do right now in lockdown to keep yourself occupied, this is a brilliant weekend. You will spend a good 2 days working your way through this one, making it look fantastic, and yours will be able to drive forward, which unfortunately my version can't here, without a little bit more work and a little bit more time available. Look out for it. Make sure that you've got something extra to add to your Ugears collection, because I hope you're buying and building a Ugears collection now, because the wealth and the range of models is simply superb. That is your Grand Prix car.